from working with hundreds and thousands of entrepreneurs, talking to them, asking them questions. I know that projection of what we see in other people is actually what holds us back.
Welcome to the Decision Maker Podcast with me, your host, Allie, Bjerk.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. So today I want to talk about what type of program you can design inside your business. I have a little thing that I created or that I drew in a different training. So I'm going to walk you through this because this helps you visualize all the different types of offers you can create in your business. And if you're only listening to the audio, hopefully I can explain this well enough to be able to get a visual in your head. Basically, when we create offers inside of our businesses, we want them to fit somewhere on what I call the profit matrix. It's this quadrant. So, horizontal line, vertical line, 4 different sections, 4 different types of offers. And this is what it looks like. So let me see if I can pull this up. So here are the different quadrants. I'm gonna have to hide behind this. So we've got low cost, low effort. These are your tiny offers, right? Like the things that we use for lead generation to get the right people, the right buyers on our email list. These are low cost, low effort on the lower left. So anything that you can sell digitally, doesn't take a ton of fulfillment. That's what goes in this low cost, low effort piece of the quadrant. In the upper left, we have high cost and low effort. So these are group programs, things that have a lot of leverage that are going to create a lot of white space in your calendar because you maybe have a couple different calls per week scheduled. So much time freedom. You're going to wonder what to do with your time if you've been working in one of these other quadrants. But it's also the most leverage because you have the lowest effort involved and high cost. So group programs, obviously, I'm really hinting at which one's my favorite. But in the upper right, we have high cost, high touch. So these are your masterminds, your one-on-one agency services, like anything that you're doing that involves your time in delivery, that is going to be in this high cost, high effort piece of the quadrant. And then in the lower right, you can see there's a big X through it. This is your low cost, high effort offer or products that are low cost, high effort. So what that means is the low cost, high effort, these are, say you're selling a course for $297 or $197 in your coaching and you're offering one-on-one support and it's a very low cost product, but you're pouring a lot of yourself into the delivery of this product, which is making you feel maxed out and frankly, probably hating your business, maybe resenting your business. So if any of you are here, that's why we put a big X through that part of the quadrant because we don't have time for that anymore. We're not the service provider or the coach that works for low ticket anymore. If you have low ticket inside your business, it's something that's selling on autopilot that you don't touch, that you don't provide any coaching in. It's only to provide some type of information or template. We know the real transformation happens inside of those group programs and even the one-on-one or the agency services or the mastermind. But for the purpose of this training, we are going to focus on where we can build the most leverage into our lives and have the most amount of white space on our calendars and have the most amount of freedom so that we can still make a lot of money. We can scale group programs if you design it in the right way so that you can have a limitless amount of people go through it and still give all of them the same experience. Like if you were to onboard 100 people into your coaching tomorrow, like in one day, would you break your system? Would you be able to get a result for all 100 of those people? We want the answer to that to be yes. We want to have the right support. We want to have the right systems, the right processes, the right content, the roadmap, the ability to get everyone to the finish line, to that end result, without ever needing to have to talk to you, even though as part of this experience in group program, we know the real thing that people are after is transformation. So we're going to talk about how to design a program that does that and what that looks like. But first, I just want to jump in and ask you, have you ever bought a program or been in a room or watched someone on stage that felt super uncomfortable? You can just feel it, right? Like when someone's on stage or even when they're in front of the camera or they're creating content and they feel uncomfortable, we can feel it as the watcher or the listener or as a student. And it shifts the way that we feel about the message that they're delivering or about the content that they're delivering or about the transformation they're trying to get for us. We immediately doubt their ability to be able to get us that transformation, or we doubt that they're the one we should be following, or that they are our person, or that they are truly the expert, because they're projecting this discomfort on us. They're showing us that, I don't know if I should be here. And sometimes their imposter syndrome is pushing through so loudly that you can feel it. And then we start to wonder, as the viewer or the student, should I really be listening to this person, or am I safe? Is this person able to do the thing that they say they're going to do? And I know from working with hundreds and thousands of entrepreneurs, talking to them, asking them questions, I know that projection of what we see in other people is actually what holds us back as becoming the next version of ourselves, of becoming a coach that's leading a group program. A lot of us, myself included, I had to really push to work through this. That's why I'm talking about it. We're happy to hide behind our digital products. We're happy to hide behind our courses. We just want things to just work on autopilot. We never have to talk to people because we think we want that freedom. But what we don't realize is that we're avoiding it because we're scared. We're avoiding leading a group because we don't think we're capable of being the one in front of the room or being the head of the Zoom room, right? Like calling on people and asking them questions and answering their questions. We feel like we have to be this guru and this know-it-all that we put so much pressure on ourselves that we think we can't lead a group program. So there's this concept of two identities. And I actually started learning about this from a children's podcast. And you would be amazed like how much I learned from listening to children's podcasts. But it was something that I didn't necessarily grow up with. I didn't grow up with a growth mindset. All I knew growing up was a fixed mindset. Like you either had it or you didn't have it. There wasn't this personal development world that was, you can become anything that you want to become. And when I became a mother, I realized that was one of my biggest values. And one of the things that I wanted to teach my children the most is you can accomplish anything if you do the work. And you can become anything if you do the work and you find the right mentors and you learn what you need to learn to become the thing that you want to become. And through this, I realized that for my students is a lot of them are still inside of that fixed mindset box. They're still thinking about things as, well, I'm not a confident leader, or I don't know what I would say in front of a group program if someone asked me a question I didn't immediately know the answer to. In the past, I've frozen, or in the past, I felt awkward in this scenario. All they can see is the past fixed version of themselves. All they can see is that discomfort of being the leader, of, what if I step on stage, or what if I lead the Zoom room, or I have a webinar or a challenge and I don't show up as the leader that I've seen other people show up as. That's not me, right? I'm not a leader. I'm not someone who can show up confidently and command the room. Those are the beliefs that we have about ourselves. And that's why so many people want to hide behind their digital products or behind their courses, or even one-on-one where they feel a little bit safer. It's really scary to step up and be able to guide a group of people all at one time, and to, be a Sherpa that's like guiding them up the mountain. You have a group of people behind you and they're all following you. That's a really intimidating thing for a lot of people. But what I want you to realize is if you are here and if you have that little voice in your head that's like, I want to lead and I want to coach and I want to help other people have a certain transformation and become, oftentimes it's the thing that we became, right? Like we become an expert, we become a leader because we experience it ourselves, but we live in this fixed mindset box that says, I could never lead a room because I can't right now. I wouldn't confidently be able to step onto a stage because I can't right now. I couldn't, be on a webinar or be on a challenge, like leading all of the things because I've never done it before, because I don't know what it would look like. I don't know what it would feel like. I'm assuming I would suck at it just because I've never done it before. So these two identities exist inside of us and they're constantly battling and they're at war because the higher version of ourselves, the one that comes out sometimes, for me, it's like in the super early morning. Sometimes I feel like I have multiple personalities because the early version of me in the morning is like, book the event space, Allie, like write the book, go do the thing. Like it's like a totally different version of myself. And I can access this version of myself after I go for a run too. It's the weirdest thing. But then the other side of me is like when I'm tired or when my kids are being crazy and my energy is low and I'm out of flow, that's like, why do you think you could do this? Like, who do you think you are that you would actually be able to become the person that steps on the stage and runs the group program and is a leader? Like, who are you to think that's even possible? So I'm constantly at battle with myself, the version of myself, the woman I want to become, who could be anything. This growth mindset could become anything or do anything, is at war with the version of myself that's tired and just wants to scroll on my phone and eat chips out of the bag and like pour the whole bag into my mouth when there's only crumbs at the end. There's like these two very extreme different versions of myself. And I used to think that I was alone in that. And I used to think that made me weird. But the more people that I talk to, I realized that they have that same pull inside of them too, where they have a little voice that says, go do the thing, like go lead, go be the coach and the expert and show up as you are and help people with that transformation. But then the magnetic pull of like everything in our past and the things our parents have said to us about maybe you should do something safer, or the well-meaning members of our community, or, you know, friends from high school that thought, oh, you're never going to be anything, or old boyfriends. Like, it could be anybody in the past that said something that stuck with us, that said, you can't do it, don't even try. And we're constantly feeling this magnetic pull. It's like an identity crisis inside of us. So you guys probably have felt this. So as a mom, I've fallen deep into this growth mindset piece. And I've realized when I'm talking to my kids, and when I would never talk to them the way that I talk to myself, right? And if you don't have kids and you have good friends, or you can imagine this, you know, a niece or a nephew or whatever, you would never tell them like, you can't do that. Who are you to think you could climb that slide or go do that thing? Like, who are you to think that's possible? We would never say that to our kids or our loved ones. We would never talk to them the way that we talk to ourselves. So why do we do it to ourselves? Right? So with kids, I realized my internal monologue, like this mean chatter critic that's in my head all day long, I didn't want to talk to my kids like that. So I worked really hard to learn how to be a growth parenting mindset, or growth mindset inside of my parenting, and say things like, well, you can't do it yet, but let's figure out a way to learn it, or let's find a coach who can help you with that, or of course you can do it. Like, let's figure out how to make it happen, and never tell them something's not possible for them.